Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. And welcome to another rendition of Old vs. New. Has wax on, wax off ever really taught anybody karate? Well, it did for this idiot. The Karate Kid, a hokey but still pretty effective sports film, centered around a kid named Daniel, who moved from Jersey to the Valley and keeps getting his ass whooped by a group of karate experts named Cobra.
Cobra!
Kai.
Oh. Well, could you ever do an old versus new with us in the G.I. Joe movie?
The movie loses.
Awesome!
Anyway, he comes across a maintenance man named Mr. Miyagi, who teaches him karate and enters him in a tournament to fight the bullies and their crazy fucking teacher head on.
This is a karate dojo, not a knitting class.
Of course, Daniel wins, and they live happily ever after through 3 more sequels. Who would have thought that years later a spin-off would come around that would not only be intriguing, but just as good as the original? I am, of course, talking about The Karate Kid. Cartoon. Oh, hell yeah, Daniel and Mr. Miyagi are traveling the world to save the shrine! Look at this, they got motorcycles, airplanes, Amazon gods! He's even walking on a fucking torpedo! Blow some shit up! Oh yeah! Actually, that show was stupid, but they came out with another movie. Like everybody, when I saw the trailer for this film, I rolled my eyes. What, Will Smith's son is Daniel and Jackie Chan is Mr. Miyagi? Come on, it sounds more like a satirical sketch than it does an actual movie. But, to everybody's surprise, it was actually a well-put-together film. It had hokey moments like the original, but it actually managed to be passionate, dramatic, and still stay true to the original source material while being its own creation. Who the hell would have thought? But we're not here to glorify movies! Actually, we sort of are, but we're mostly here to compare. Which one of these movies got the job done better? The iconic original or the new reimagining? Which one had more drama, more heart, and kept a better balance? What's the better movie that everybody whacks off to? That sounded really bad. This is Old vs. New Karate Kid. So, what better way to start off The Karate Kid than by looking at The Karate Kid? This is the best Karate Kid. Now, both these actors do a good job representing their characters and their age range. They're both tough, but sensitive too. They're not super strong, but they never back down from a fight. And they're both charming and cocky, but also know when to shut up and focus. In the original, Daniel, played by Ralph Macchio, moves from Jersey to the Valley and has a hard time fitting in.
I want to hear the truth. No, you don't want to hear the truth. All you want to hear is how great it is out here. Well, it may be great for you, but it sucks for me. I hate this place. I hate it. I just want to go home.
With Dre, played by Jaden Smith, he moves from one side of the world to the other. So I guess you could argue he has a little bit more to complain about.
We've been here less than a week, and I feel
like it's a year. I hate it here. I want to go home.
But nevertheless, both represent how hard it is to fit into a new place. You could also make the argument that because Smith is younger, you'd naturally feel more sorry for him when he gets beat up. Seeing little kids get injured isn't a fun thing to watch unless you're Willy Wonka, but then again, it's pretty hard to watch Macchio get his ass kicked too. So I don't know, which one actually leaves a deeper impact? Well, if I had to choose, and of course I do, I have to say Macchio. But to be fair, I think a lot of that has to deal with his age. When you're a little kid, it's common to get in fights, and if you lose, well, you're a kid. It sucks, but you're still allowed to look weak at that age. And if anything, it's kinda cool that you were in a fight to begin with. No other kid's gonna fuck with you. But Macchio's in high school, a point where standing up for yourself and acting like a man is a much bigger deal. If you fight when you're a kid, it's still sort of okay when a parent or teacher comes in to fix the matter. When you're a teen, that shit goes right out the window, and your pride suddenly costs a lot more to defend it. I think because of that, Macchio has a lot more to prove, and his struggle is much more painful and identifiable. He wants to be left alone, but not at the cost of his dignity, and he's willing to fight to defend who he is. Smith does this too, but like I said, it's a different age. If this kid was beating on me at that age, I'd be like, dude, Mom, there's a fucking crazy Asian kid who looks like a psycho. He knows Kung Fu, and I am scared shitless. Do something! In high school, you have no choice. You gotta fight. And thus, Daniel seems much stronger and more determined. I also have to admit, it is refreshing to see a movie character from Jersey who's not an asshole! Okay, yeah, I make fun of Jersey every once in a while, but even I know that not every person that comes from there is totally nuts. It's nice to see an actual positive Jersey role model. You know, outside of...
Leave me alone. Get out of my face.
Oh, shut your mouth, you dirty little hamster.
You look like Popeye on crack in my face, jerk off.
Oh, that show rapes me. I also get the feeling that Macho is sort of like Bruce Wayne. Now hear me out on this. It always seems like he's one step away from being an evil jerk himself. He always walks that fine line. Like he could turn to the dark side at any moment. But that just makes us all the more thankful that he is a good guy, wants to stay a good guy, and is willing to put his balls on the line to prove it. Not only does this make him more interesting, but it makes him a better role model and a better character. Smith, you did great, but Daniel-san is the more engaging hero. Point goes to the old.
Oh, that's great.
Wax on.
But remember, there are no bad students, only bad teachers. And what kind of teacher makes his student paint a fence while learning karate? Indeed, Mr. Miyagi has become an iconic image of the old wise martial arts teacher. But Jackie Chan really is an old wise martial arts teacher. So again, this is a pretty close call. In many ways, Miyagi is much more deceiving because he looks older, is shorter, and is not as physically fit. Jackie Chan looks like, well, Jackie Chan. So his challenge is a little greater to be visually deceiving. But they overcome that very carefully with the attitude they gave him. He's wise, yes, but he's also sort of a lost soul.
I thought you were just a maintenance man.
You think only with your eyes, so you are easy to fool.
He was destined for great things, but chose not to follow it because of something painful that happened in the past. Miyagi is actually content with where he is and likes where he lives, despite the fact that he has a very sad backstory too. But there is a lot of weight in having Jackie Chan be in your Kung Fu movie. For example, when Chan's character Mr. Han actually talks about Kung Fu, it's pretty obvious he knows what he's talking about because Jackie Chan is playing him. You know he's not gonna lie about that shit. And that's another thing. In the remake, it's coat on, coat off, as opposed to wax on, wax off. But Mr. Han actually explains why he used this method to teach him.
Kung Fu lives in everything we do, Xiao Zui. It lives in how we put on the jacket, how we take off the jacket, and lives in how we treat people. Everything is Kung Fu.
Mr. Miyagi, on the other hand, never explains why he had Daniel wax his cars and paint his fence. Yeah, it's teaching him karate, but why the hell didn't he just, I don't know, teach him karate?
Wash the car, sand the floor, paint the fence, paint the house, all the floor.
I mean, think about it. It fools Daniel as well as the audience, but he never actually explains why. Why did he teach him this way instead of just showing him the moves? Do you think Daniel ever came to that realization? Hey, Mr. Miyagi, why'd you have me paint your fence? To teach you karate! Yeah, but why didn't you just show me the moves instead of having me paint your fence? To teach you karate! You just wanted your fence painted, didn't you? Yes, I did. And why'd you have me wax the car? Oh, 2 for 1 deal! Let's look at the backstories. Mr. Miyagi lost his wife and son while she was giving birth, and was unable to see her because he was in the army.
Regret to inform wife, son, complication of birth, son.
With Mr. Han, he lost his wife and kid because he was driving the car and got into an accident. So that places even more guilt on him because he was actually the cause of their deaths.
I was driving. We argued about something. I was so angry. I lost control. I cannot remember what we argued about. I hope it was something important.
This explains why he's such a shut-in and rarely talks to people. With Mr. Miyagi, there never seemed like a concrete reason why to have that tragic history. Maybe the idea is that Daniel is the closest thing to a son he ever had, but even then, that's a little vague. It's ironic because I should like Mr. Miyagi more because he's much more confident and wise. But honestly, Mr. Han is the more interesting character. It's one of the few times I didn't see Jackie Chan in a performance, and I sort of forgot that he actually can do drama. He's done it in the past and can do it quite well if in the right movie. But aside from that, Mr. Han is more complex and has more weaknesses to overcome. They both learn from each other and make one another stronger. In the original, it was very much teacher-taught student, but here they actually teach each other, which feeds into the whole balance subtext that both films are working with. Plus, Mr. Han can hold fucking fire in his hand! That's just awesome! Again, both do wonderfully, but Mr. Han is the more juicy performance, allowing for a lot more strength and heart to be shown and developed. Point goes to the noob.
I think you talk too much.
Attitude.